Uh,
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Spooky Things. I'm Debbie, and we're going to have a very interesting show tonight. I would like to introduce Michael Culp. Hi, Michael.
hey, how's it going?
No, pretty good. Michael and I know each other because we're on the same team. We're on the Webb paranormal team. We have a blast.
Yep.
Yeah. Um. Okay. So, Michael, tell me what's been going on.
We're getting ready for the parakeet coming August 9th and 10th.
Yeah, we are.
You
Yeah.
investigate kind of working on a few that we weren't able to go to, so been a little slow this past month as far as investing anyway.
Yeah, we had the one investigation lined up and they end up canceling it out, or somebody was at a fishing tournament. We'll fish away.
It was having fun.
Yeah. But yeah, the Comic Con's coming up. And for those of you out there who aren't aware of it, Webb Paranormal sponsors the Deep South Paracomic Con. That is going to be August the 9th and 10th in Ozark, Alabama. So we want everybody to keep those dates in mind and come on up to see what's going on in Ozark. Hey, Teresa.
Get your tickets while they're cheap.
Say what?
They get your tickets while they're cheap right now.
Exactly. There's a lot, they've got a lot of sales going on with them. They really do. And every time I turn around, they got another sale going and another sale going. It's like, my gosh, they're making them really easy to get. That's for sure.
Teresa?
Trying to turn up the volume here a little bit. Okay, so Michael, tell me what's been going on with what you've been investigating with.
I've been checking things with Bill Skeeto, the Reverend Bill Skeeto that was hung in Newton. I've been trying to do a little on that. I found some old.
Hang on just a second. Stan, I'm getting Michael cutting in and out on the sound here. Can you hear me okay, Michael?
Yeah, I hear you fine.
Yeah, he keeps cutting out. He'll talk and then it'll cut out and then he'll talk and it'll cut out.
I can actually hear.
Okay.
Through.
Okay, so you're getting feedback on it?
I'm getting feedback.
Okay. I'm not getting any feedback at all over here. Stan, are you getting any feedback? While Stan's working on that. Okay, so you've been really researching into Bill Skeeto.
Right.
Okay, well, tell me what you heard.
Well, say that there's a bridge that he was hung by. When you're in Newton and you're looking down the side of the bridge, you can see remains of the old bridge when the water's low. But
Mhm.
I've found old maps from back in that day that shows that the road actually comes from Newton and goes straight to Daleville. It didn't come to where it goes now. When you overlay those maps, go through the park there in Newton, back to the right side, there's a little walkway that goes back, and there's an old bridge back there that's, you can tell it's an old bridge. Cross, and I'm nobody really can say is where that hole is because nobody was there at that time. So when they say that he was hung beside a bridge, when I go out there, I don't see no oak trees unless it's out inside that park. You don't really see any.
Okay.
You see pine trees everywhere. But back there where that old bridge is, that's on the backside by Daleville, there's oak trees all over back, and there's really no say exactly where he was, you know, hung at. I mean, there's speculation, but we weren't all back there.
So, so it's really just kind of like you just kind of figure it out for yourself where he was actually hung at.
right. I kind of stumbled across that bridge back there. I've seen it before, but I never put two and two together because you can see where it started on the one side of the creek, and then you see where it ended on the other side of the creek, and you can see parts of the bridge laying in the water. And when you look at one of the maps, it crosses right across that creek and goes straight into Dillville. So I just need to go out there and look around and see what I can find out about that area.
Yeah, because what year was that he was actually hung at?
He was hung, I think it was 1864, December
Wow.
3rd.
November 3rd?
December 3rd.
December 3rd. I'm sorry. Um, and that was a sad story behind him too, because if I'm not mistaken, everybody thought that he had, well, what we call today AWOL, out of the military. But in actuality, he actually had permission to go. What was his wife was ill?
Right. But here's the thing, there's no record of him actually being in the military. And back in that time, you couldn't hire somebody to take the place, which was what they said happened. You know, speculated that anyway. But you couldn't hire somebody to take at that time. It was against the rules.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's much more acceptable in today's society to be able to do things. But back then, either you were at the war or you weren't at the war. Yeah, it's like you can't just take off and just go do whatever you want to do. And if you did, things like that happened. But it was a sad situation though that he took off to go see his wife who was so sick, and a group of them got together and hung them. Is that about the correct story?
Right. Um,
Yeah.
I think I read there was 7 of them total, and they kind of another story is that people were saying that he was trying to help the North, was some renegades from the North, and so some say that he was hung for that, but it really can't say. There's too many
Yeah.
stories.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
There's that whole area is so rich in all of these. Hey, Ben, how you doing? So rich with all of these stories and these things that went on back then, especially that particular area right there. Um, I know you put a lot of time into the research of it all, and you probably have a pretty good idea of, what's gone on in that area. But I find it just totally fascinating. Um, my phone's beeping. Sorry about that. But going up into that area, you can see even today where there's like such a wilderness about it, and that's in today. Can you imagine how difficult it was to even get through that area going way back then? They didn't have the things that we have today. So, I mean, I don't even see how they even walked through most of that area, much less go on
Those
these
woods
big
are pretty thick.
trips.
I was saying those woods are thick.
They are. They truly are. And you think the snakes are bad today? Phew, could you only imagine? And they didn't have the protection that we have today.
Hey,
Hell, I'm surprised so many lived. I'm surprised we're all here. Really, I mean, it's just amazing.
boy,
Um, Go ahead.
everybody just said suck the poison out.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not game for all that kind of stuff.
I don't do snakes.
I don't. And I used to work at the Serpentarium back years ago in Miami, and with Mr. Bill Host, and I worked there. And he was absolutely fat. He was actually very funny. And I worked there when I was in my early 20s, a long time ago. But him and his wife Clarita lived behind in the house behind the Serpentarium, and they were interesting. They were really interesting, and I mean, I would help them with the feeding of the cobras. We couldn't do it but I would help him do it. And I
Right.
remember this one time, and this was in a show, and I had the feeding gun in my hand, and we both had lab coats on, and because really you don't want to get venom on you, you don't even want it on you, it's like, oh no. And he would hold the snake, and then I would hold the gun, and he would feed it, and I would put the pressure on it where it would go into the snake. And this particular time he had an anti-venom laboratory in the back. I mean, he did such amazing research. And so he would collect the anti-venom. He would collect the venom to have it create the anti-venom for it. And I guess this one particular day, the snake just didn't feel like getting fed. Somehow or another, in the placing of it, or the snake got loose from his hands. And he went to kind of grab the snake again. And mind you, I'm standing right next to him. He went to go grab it. And while he did, the snake went down. He just kind of flipped it up. When he did that, when the snake went by, it grabbed a hold of my lab coat.
The snake.
And this is a cobra. This is the king cobra that they were feeding at the time. And I just kind of stood there, me and my little feeding gun. I'm like, whoo.
No.
And you could see where the snake had grabbed it. It was this like dark puddle of venom on it. And the only thing he said was, well, not going to get anything out of him today. You ain't going to get anything out of me either. Because I think I need to go home. That scared me so bad.
Yeah, I could.
And I tell you, huh?
I couldn't have done that.
Well, if it's going to happen with anybody, that's the person you want it to happen with, because this guy was such an amazing man. I mean, he was amazing, and the things that he did were just incredible the way that he has such a huge impact on, collecting the anti-venom and creating these anti-venoms. I think he was like, at that point, Ben says, oh, but snakes are so cute and cuddly. No, they're not. No,
No,
they're not. But yeah, that was getting off on snakes. That's been my experience with snakes. I thank you, but no thank you. Where did Bill Skeeto come from? That's a good question. Where did he come from? And Teresa says, what is the unfillable hole? Oh, I know
the
what she's talking about.
unbelievable is the whole. They say is at the new bridge there in Newton, but they say it's covered up right now. And
Really?
hung him, from a limb, and it was kind of a low limb, tall fella. So one of the guys that was there with him had a crutch, and they kind of dug it out, made the hole bigger, deeper, just so he'd have enough room to hang in.
Hmm.
Just needed just a little bit, so a little bit of that hole.
Man, that's horrifying. That is just horrifying.
Because
And so,
hanging there just doing like this, they could actually dig it out. Because he was basically on the ground already.
now he was a large man, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's a tall man.
He was a really tall man. Um, he was like over 6 foot.
Yeah, I think he was like 6'6", around there.
Oh, okay, so he's like a really tall man. And Teresa wants to know, was he born in Spain?
Was he born where?
In Spain?
Yeah, I think so. I think a fan keeps going in and out for some reason tonight. Can't remember exactly where it was. I mean, I had it wrote down, but it's in the other room.
Now, when they say the unfillable hole, explain why they consider it an unfillable hole, or they did consider it an unfillable hole.
Well, they say that you, well, at the time you could go out there, put up, and sleep on it, and when you wake up the next morning, something dug it out, cleaned it clean, took all the dirt out. Anything you put in it would be out of it. But then I've read where one of his buddies had actually went out there. I say buddies, somebody he knew had went out there and would clean it out all the time. So start that the rumor of the unfillable.
Oh, so his friend was probably the one doing it.
Probably the one at that time started the whole thing.
And then as time goes on, somebody decides to take over, and they
Just
keep it
grew.
going. Yeah. Well, and in a way, it's kind of okay. It kind of keeps the spirit of the whole thing going. Um, so okay, so Bill Skeeto was born in Spain,
Right.
and then he traveled over to the United States when he was a kid.
I think even when he was a kid, he come over. Not for sure.
Okay, not for sure.
I know he.
He's an interesting guy.
Know he had 6 kids.
Well, he was busy.
Right.
Now, now, do these kids? Obviously, I mean, they've gone by now, but their families, are they still in that area where that all occurred at? Is
I
there
actually
like a Skeeto name there?
I actually went to school with a ski team when I went to Newton. So I think she was related to him at that time. Or when I think she was one of his descendants. Is what I'm trying to say. And
It's an unusual name. I've not heard anybody else have that name. So
right,
I'm assuming it would probably be within that family. Hmm, that's interesting. It would be interesting to see if we could get some, and if there's somebody out there listening and they're from the Skeeto family tree, we'd love to talk to you. We would really love to talk to you. Fabulous family history, and like to pick your brain about it a little bit more. If there's anybody listening who is or knows of somebody who is from that, generational line, that would be great to talk to them.
I know his
Um,
most of the kids and his wife buried in a cemetery there with him in Echo. He's he's buried at Mount Carmel Cemetery.
Mount Carmel.
Mount Carmel Cemetery.
Okay. And where is that at?
It's out towards Echo here in Alabama.
Towards where?
Echo,
Echo,
yeah.
Echo, Alabama.
Mhm.
Um,
And actually, one of our team members live right next to the cemetery.
oh, really?
Yep.
So how many of them are buried in that cemetery? It's him and his wife.
I know him and his wife, and if I remember, I think I saw three or four of his children there when I had went. It's been about a year since.
Wow. Um, Ben says, before more history is erased from history, I would learn to love more about the interesting places y'all are talking about. Absolutely. And Ben, if you have anything to add to it, if you do some research on that, let us know, because I mean this is definitely a place that you know would be a good place to look into. Um, Now, exactly what town exactly was it that they hung him in?
Newton.
They hung him in Newton. How far away is Newton from Echo?
Uh, 50 miles maybe 20,
15 or 50?
15 to 20.
Well, that's not that far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
So,
pretty good distance because he was on a horse.
well, that's true. Being on horseback, it makes it not so difficult. Hudo Park has a picnic area. It is on the battlefield. Yeah. Now, I remember Hudo Park, if I'm not mistaken, Teresa, Stan, and I went to Hudo Park um, one day. I forget where we were on the way to. Could have been on the way to I don't know, Ozark, or we were on the way somewhere. But we stopped off at Hudo Park, if I'm not mistaken. Isn't that right? And yeah, we looked around, and Teresa was showing me the battleground, and it was strange thinking about all that going on there. But I could envision it very, very clearly. I could envision it, just the way that it was set up, and you could just perfectly see it. It was really interesting. um Ben, what was that Ben said? Ben said something about what we
Says
were the
he
area
wants
that
to,
we were talking. Huh?
he wants to pick our brains about it.
Pick our brains. Well, Michael would be the one that you'd want to pick the brain on this more. He's got a lot of interesting information on this particular area there. Um, so, but it appears as though where everything that you're talking about that happened was very close then to where he lived at.
I
Because if he lived
I think he was lived out.
living out where?
I think he lived out towards Echo.
Yeah, he lived out towards Echo, and but they killed him in Newton.
Right.
So he was right there by his home where they
But
had gotten him at.
see, with the
Um,
that I looked at, he'd have to. Hard to say. I'd have to show you the maps that I have. Getting from Echo to Newton would be a little different than what it is today. And for him to cross that bridge, would have had been coming from Daleville.
hmm
So hard to say whether he was coming from going in.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, he was right there by his home. So Ben says he's getting more and more interested in folklores and urban legends lately. Oh, they're fascinating. They are, and it's interesting. The more you look into it, a lot of the legends going on. There's 90% of the time there's truth behind them about what you hear about, but it's just picking through the truth, and we all know how that story goes. That one person starts it, by the end of it, it's totally different. Which is in the case, I think, on Bellamy Bridge. Um,
That the one?
what really happened? What?
That the one in Florida?
Yes,
My son
yes.
actually
That's
went there last night and got spooked out of there.
did he?
Yeah, he said he was on the bridge. Something screeched at him.
Ooh. And there's a lot of people that have said that they didn't last long there.
He said he hightailed it out of there.
That's what they said too. So I mean, there's something going on there. There's no doubt there is something going on there. But the stories have changed dramatically from what they say legend has occurred there is really mm, night and day as to what actually happened. Um, the young woman in question was never on the bridge in the way that they said that she was. It just didn't have. She did not die on the bridge. She actually passed away in her home. Bill Skeeto was one of the 13 Ghosts of Alabama, written by Catherine Tucker Wyndham.
Yep.
Okay, so he's one of the 13 Ghosts of Alabama. So he's notoriously known.
Yeah.
Um, he's notoriously known. Webb Paranormal Group has investigated Bill Skeeto many times. Yeah, they really have. And it seems like each time you learn more and more about it. And even with Michael's research going on, you discover more every time that you look into a different book, and it's like nobody said anything about this before. This is interesting. Um, but he was definitely a very, very well known guy at the time. This is a tragic story. Um, now, this also is there any kind of a connection between Bill Skeeto and Polly Jail? Is there any connection with that at all?
Not that I'm aware of. I haven't heard nothing.
Not that you're aware of. It was around the same period. No, was it around? No, I think Bill Skeeto. Everything that happened with Bill Skeeto happened before a lot of
Yeah.
the stuff with Polly Jail. Yeah, I think it did. Okay, that was just my own curiosity thinking about it. Um, I wasn't sure if because you guys researched it so much more than what I know about it. You guys have researched a lot more into it, so I'm curious as to a lot of things about that too. But the area that now, when we went to that area, there was, if I'm not mistaken, there was the big bridge, the modern bridge. Now the other bridge that was there, is that the bridge? Is that under the modern bridge, or was it completely removed?
Well, you go down the main bridge, and you see the one of the old bridges, the 70s, I think it was. You see half of a bridge. I guess it had got washed out or something at one time. So they put the new bridge in, but right under the new bridge on you're coming from Newton, it's down on the left hand. You look under there, you can see where the pillars are that come up old wooden bridge at the time.
Okay. Okay, that's what I'm thinking of then, was the pillars that were still there. And Teresa just put down that the Pauley jail was built in 1897, so Mr. Skeeto
Long gone.
was long gone by then. So yeah, so there is no connection between the two. Thank you for clearing that up, Teresa. I appreciate that. Um, yeah, I do remember seeing the pillars that were still there, and just and anybody who's wanting to go around where that bridge is it's a great idea. It's beautiful. And Ben says, and that's why I love being part of Deep South Para Comic Con. So much information and so much to learn from y'all and many others. There is a lot of information that can go around on really any of these Comic Cons. Hi, Angie. How are you? Um, yeah, it's just so much can be learned from the area, from different case subjects that are going on, different people that have been there, the different, you know, investigation techniques that they've used to get whatever it is that they have. But yeah, there's a lot of information that's out there, especially in these old southern towns. There was, yeah, right? I mean, and what's really amazing is that a lot of these old southern towns are so generational that a lot of the families that are direct descendants of the people that you're actually researching still live there, and they built their families' lives there. So it's a story that just continues with the same generation going down the line, and
If,
it just makes it all so much more real, knowing that these people are the direct descendants
if you're coming across
of the
the bridge
people.
and you look on the left hand side, you big old iron thing going over somebody's driveway, and it says Skeeto on that iron thing. That little iron gate, I guess you call it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And that's right there on the other side of the bridge. Be descendants of them.
It's fascinating. It's fascinating. Um, that's why I just love all these small country towns. Generations go by, but a lot of things just remain the same, you know? And it's something that you don't find in the big cities. Big
Mhm.
cities, people come and go from there, but not these small towns. They have a rich family history and they preserve it, and they keep it going. They keep it they make sure that those stories don't go away. They want their family's voices heard. And I like that. I really do. I think that's just so very loyal, I guess. Well, it looks like I might be taking a road trip to this location of Bill Skeeto.
Hit me up. Hit me up.
He says, pick him up.
Just hit
He'll
me up.
go. I'll hit you up.
Yeah, I'll meet him there.
There you go. You got someone who will go with you. And he can tell you all about it. He knows where this place is. He knows a lot of things about this place. I love learning about it too. Um, no, Ben says it's a date. Oh my goodness. It'll be fun. We had fun when we were out there just trucking around. It was out there. It was really out there.
I'd like to investigate it again.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting because you can investigate that like 5 or 6 times and come up with 5 or 6 different,
Yeah.
completely different findings on each time that you go. It's just like one time is not the same as the next. And in active places like that, that's what I like about it. It's like it doesn't matter how many times you go out there, you're going to come up with something different every time you go. Oh, Ben says he's going to wear something nice for the occasion. Well, that's nice.
I
I wear something that's mosquito proof.
I think next time we have to investigate.
Well, it would be somewhere, it would be somewhere to go to investigate again. Is it even still open at night? Can you go down there at night?
You can go down there at night. We went. All I had to do was go up to the place uptown and talk to them up there. And they said, yeah, it's no problem. You go down there anytime.
So long as they know that you're there. Yeah. Yeah.
The cops know we're down there. Keep an eye out for us.
Yeah. And that's true. That's so important. I tell people all the time on my show, make sure that you have permission of the people that own it or operate it, know that you're going to be there and have given you permission
I want to
to be
spend.
there. And they will do it. They will not hesitate to do, especially these small towns. You're in a place you're not supposed to be in, you're going to be visiting the local jail. They will pull you in. They have no hesitation about that at all.
If it's a
So, and
weekend,
rightfully so. Oh yeah, you'd have to spend the whole weekend there. Well, you can investigate their jail.
they
Oh,
pay
what
me.
fun that would be. Oh my God. I don't know. I can think of better things to do than investigating a modern day jail.
They take me to Poly jail. I'll stay there.
Poly jail is something else now. That Poly jail is just too cool. It really is.
Looking forward to that
So
again.
yeah, yeah, I am too. That was a lot of fun the last time we went there. And but you got to be careful. Just I think probably the biggest thing that I got out of Poly jail is that as a woman, you wouldn't want to be in there alone.
No.
Not as a woman. Hmm. And someone had asked me one time, well, you just go in there with like 3 or 4 women, then 3 or 4 of you are in trouble. It doesn't matter. They don't go by, oh, there's 4 of them. We can't mess with them. Oh, easy pickings. Hey, we got 4. They don't care. And you're all in trouble.
They
Ben
will
says,
touch.
exactly. We do investigations, not jail time. We try. What now?
They will touch women up there.
They will. They have no problem with it. And I just think that it's, you know, and I'm not trying to be demeaning to women. I am a woman, but I'm just saying for safety reasons, you really don't want to go up there alone or like 2 or 3 ladies go up there. It's not a good idea, you guys. It's just not. These are people from a completely different time, and they had different views back then. And these aren't, the group that's in that jail is not a group that you'd want to take to a, English tea to begin with. So they're a rowdy group, and they will have fun with you.
They were there
And
for.
yeah, this, exactly, exactly. And it wasn't because they were nice, but going to places like that to investigate is always fascinating. And I mean, your results are usually top of the line in a place like that. But just be careful when you go in there. Make sure you take the correct precautions, and like I said, I'm not trying to say, oh, be careful because you're no, you got to be careful because you're a woman. These sometimes being a woman, you have to be more careful with. This is one of those times. Richard, they ran my friend Stephanie right to jail for her.
Yes, we did. I remember that.
I bet they did. I'm so sorry, Stephanie.
She was like, "Nope, I ain't about to do this."
They will. Hmm?
She was like, "Nope, I'm not doing this."
Nope, a double nope. I'm gone. Oh my gosh. They will do it. It's funny. It is. It's funny. But one can only take so much before you finally just say, nope.
Have you ever been to Grancer's
But,
tomb?
huh?
Have you ever been to Harrison Grancer's tomb?
No.
That's a good one. That's another one of the 13 ghosts.
Harrison
Grancer.
Grancer. Harrison Grancer. Now, where is that at?
That one's in Kinston, Alabama.
Kinston. Okay, Kinston. Where is that in relation to Vilskitos?
Probably 30 miles.
That's not bad.
That's not too
It's close
bad.
by. Yeah, that's close by.
It's not far from Florida.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Teresa says, let's go to Kingston. Let's go.
That was actually my first investigation with Paranormal Group.
Oh, really?
I was hooked.
You got good results?
Yeah, we had pretty good results that night. That night I had an SLS camera in my hand for the first time, never had one. And I was watching something dancing up there by one of the graves. And all of a sudden, it felt like there was nobody around me. So it just thumped me in the back of the head.
Oh,
But it was fun.
I love nights like that where you get just really right in your face results. Debbie, we got to talk about these Southern pronunciations. What y'all talking about? Trying. My gosh. If there's a name, I will slaughter it. I'm not
You
good with names,
got,
right? And I tell everybody on my show when I'm reading a name and I'm like, it's like, all right, be forewarned, I'm getting ready to just completely annihilate this name, and I'm going to try it anyway. Kingston. That's what I said. Kingston.
Kinston.
Kinston.
There you
It
go.
looks like Kingston. I lost it already. Kinston.
That's it.
Kinston. So there, Teresa. Kinston. It's in Kinston. I knew I could get it. That's what I said. Kinston. Kinston. I'm going to start calling it Kingston in just a minute here.
Just call it that town close to.
What? Madrid? We were talking about that earlier. Madrid. In Madrid, Alabama, there's a haunted church where a lady hung herself. In a church? She hung herself? closer to God than me. Hang yourself in a church, I guess. Madrid, Alabama. I never heard of that one. I'm gonna look into that. Do you know which one that one is, Michael?
I have no clue yet. My mom,
Well, which one is it? Did you notice that I said Madrid? Did you notice that? I didn't say Madrid. I said
the only thing I
Madrid.
don't like about Madras, my ex-wife lives
We have not investigated there. Well, why don't we? We
there.
should.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I do too. Quick question, Miss Debbie. Could you share what they were fussing about the last time we were in Daleville while you were in the gym? Oh, the kids? Well, I'm not really sure. Are you talking about the ones that were so active when I was there and they started just going at it when I was there? Is that the one that?
I think that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, yeah. Um, they were just upset. They were upset about them. They were very upset. And they just kept fussing around and just, and I was like, oh, we're here. Now we're here. So, come on. But they wanted to be heard. Basically, it was that they had wanted to be heard, and why they waited around for me to get there before they started it, I have no idea. But I have the same response from the children in the Funiac Hotel, which we've all been to. Michael knows. Michael was there.
Yeah,
Um, yeah,
beautiful,
and the kids there just, huh?
beautiful place.
Isn't it? And Chef Ernie is just awesome. And but the little girls are just talkative, talkative, talkative with me the whole time that we're there, and very similar to where the kids were so talkative. Whenever I would come around them, they would just all of a sudden just they were being kids. They were just being kids. Um, it's funny because I can't interpret my own granddaughter when she gets to talking like that. She's two. and, and I'm like, I have no idea what she's saying, but she's trying to make herself really known. And that's about what the kids were doing there. They were just making a fuss, but they were just letting themselves be known. But I thought that was just cute as it could be. I really did. So I enjoyed myself there. I really liked it. Um, yeah, Daleville, that auditorium in Daleville is really a very interesting place. It
Yeah,
is. Yeah.
they really like that.
Mm-hmm. There is a really cool place. Um, yeah, there's a hidden mystery behind what happened there. There is a hidden mystery behind that. Um, and it seems like the kids want it to be known, very much so. But it's almost like silence is key there. It was very interesting how the box would not stop because I heard you saying that they don't have to yell. They were so loud. I know. I was like, I'm sitting right here. You don't have to yell at me.
We tried
It's just typical.
we tried to find research on that building. We could not find nothing.
Mm-mm.
Teresa tried
No.
on it. She couldn't hardly find anything.
Yeah, there's quite a history about that building there, and of course, as time goes on, the history gets hidden more and more and more, and eventually it'll get to a point where no one knows what the mystery is anymore. And then
It'd
you have to leave, huh?
be another one of those here.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And how many do I think that were there? I felt like there were two. With the kids, there was more kids there. Yeah, there was more kids there. Um, I would think probably while they were all excited, I would say like three or four, maybe five that were there because they're all just trying to talk at the same time and all trying to outdo the other one. And it just getting louder and louder. And it was like, I can't understand anything when you're all talking at one time. And yeah, it was interesting. Yeah, it was. They're just cute as they can be, though. Um, Now we do know the two were two that one drowned. Well, actually, one drowned and another boy passed away, but it wasn't drowning. It was Angie Harden. I missed the live investigating that you did. That was fun, wasn't it? Hmm. Yeah, we had a lot of fun, and there was a lot of things that went on. At she's talking about Michael, the Hotel de Funiac. We used to do lives from there. Well, not just there, from a lot of other places, but we were always coming up with things. Um, and Angie was very active with us at that time. Then it was an interesting location. Yeah, very, very much so. Very interesting location. Webb Paranormal has got a very, very interesting way. I was very excited about joining up with Webb Paranormal. Um, and I wanted a team that I could work with as well as the previous team that I was on before that we had worked. Angie said yes. Um, and I wanted to be with a team that I could work as equally well with. And I think that Web Paranormal really is a good group of people, really just a good group of people. And there's some very knowledgeable people in there. And it's very enjoyable. I like it a lot. And we go to a lot of places that's very close to me. And I get tuckered out. You know, if I got to travel far to get to a place, heck, I'm tuckered by the time I get there.
I know.
I, right? Just like, okay, when we going home, I'm tired. I'm old.
I'm the one that wants to
But
stay real late. Everybody else are ready. Just getting started.
all right, let's go. But I'm also a firm believer that investigations, a lot of people won't investigate um, unless it's dark. I never understood that. It's like they don't care. They don't care if it's dark or not. You can investigate anytime you want. But there are some teams that won't even invest. They won't even start an investigation unless it's dark. I never quite understood that.
Most of the people that their houses like that, they don't see it in the middle of the night because they see it during the day.
Yeah, if the same things are there, morning and at night, it's not just at night. I think what the main thing is that at night, of course, there's more opportunities for them to be more, secluded, to hide in the shadows, so to speak. But whatever you got in there at night, you got in there at the daytime. It's there, and I've had really good results doing investigations in the daytime. Probably because we can see better.
That's
Okay,
Harris.
now this is Michael. You want to explain this?
That there is Harrison Grancer's too, Kinston.
Okay.
They actually had
Now,
to. They tried to blow it up at one time
why did they do that?
because they thought he was buried with money, so they wanted to get it.
Oh my God. Now, is this the tombstone or is this a crypt?
It's a crypt.
It is a crypt. Okay. So they tried to explode that whole crypt
Yep.
to get to money.
They redid it. He was buried in. I think they said his dancing shoes on.
Oh, wait a minute. I remember this story. That's the one that liked to dance so much.
Yep. And remember, I told you with the SLS camera, I was watching a stick figure on there dancing back and forth by one of the headstones. And back,
Oh,
you remember they used to drop down real low and kick their feet out. That's what this stick figure was doing on it.
and is this Mr. Grancer here?
If I believe so.
Yeah. Yeah, William Grancer. He's laying on his bed and the tomb around him.
Right.
In this picture, he is. He's laying on his bed and the tomb around him.
I don't think that's the picture right there. It might be. I'm not sure.
Looks like he's sitting down.
Yeah.
Or what she could be talking about is that he was laying in the bed and they entombed around the bed.
Right. I think his slaves
That's
built a crypt around him.
no in the grave. Yeah. Wow.
He wanted windows
So was
out, but they wouldn't do it.
why did he want windows so that it wasn't so dark in there or
I have no clue.
I don't either. I don't think I'd want to look into a grave. But okay, what's this?
That's probably jail. Laura's trying to hang me.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. That's exactly.
That was an interesting night right there. I sat
Now
there at
I'm trying to. Uh-huh. Go ahead.
the desk and watching the monitor, and the light comes in the doorway, and you could see something kept going past and knocking out the light out of the doorway. So something was
Oh.
nobody outside. There was nobody downstairs but me, but something kept crossing that doorway, making a light go out.
Well, that was interesting.
Yeah, that was a fun night.
Yeah, Polly Jail is definitely interesting. Um, yeah, the night that we were all there, that was that night that the really big noise happened when Richard was doing the Estes. And remember that big sounded like a door slammed
Mhm.
inside the jail.
We had just
Yeah.
got and we hooked it up, and everybody was. You could actually hear people talking. Like you could hear females talking. I think it was a second, or I can't remember if it was a second, but you could hear it way better than the camera system.
Yeah, there's always something going on. You know, there's a lot of activity in there, just a lot of activity. Do we want to see some evidence from some of our cases?
Sure.
Yeah, bring it on.
So I was
What you got?
in the group. I believed in ghosts. As far as I'm the one that I want it to happen to me, so I know that it actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in it, but I want it to happen.
Right. I think everybody who does this needs to have that moment of positive reaction to that aha moment. This is real. Yeah,
When that
um
moment comes, be too
you're not ready for it. You always think you are, and you're not ready for it. And it's just that moment of clarity that it's like, wow, that was scary and cool all at the same time. But it's definitely no denying it. And I think once somebody experiences that, just like with you, um, there's just no turning back. It's like, no, I got to know more. Now that I know that it's real, I got to know more. I have to get the full, as best as I can, understand this. And it becomes a lifelong adventure. You're always looking for that next stage that you can come to. This is from Bella's Fine Dining in Dothan, Alabama. Michael, do you remember this?
I haven't been there yet.
Something skittle daddling right along there.
Wouldn't mind going there soon.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, Explain that right there. I'm not a big orb person, but that did not look like dust
Mm.
at all. That looked like it had pretty much something
Volume.
going on with it. Yeah, yeah. But it definitely looked like it had purpose, but without really being able to look at the circumstances, what was going on, what's the history, so much involved in it. But like I said, I'm not a real big orb person, but eh, that looked pretty impressive there. Next is the old Beale House in Cottonwood.
Haven't been there yet.
Cottonwood. Place. Oh, now that's interesting.
Yeah, that didn't look like no little orb.
No, that's not an orb, and that's not a bug. Not an orb, not a bug.
Oh,
Wow. I don't know. That's good. That's a good one. I got no explanation on that one. I have no idea.
it looked to be 4 or 6 inches.
Yeah. Yeah. And it pretty much kept its same shape the whole time. It didn't change shapes or anything. And then this is a private case. I guess it's coming up.
I've had what looked like orbs straight up to the camera and stop, take off and go the other way.
Yep.
Looks like Shawana.
Yeah, it does.
I think that's who it was.
Hmm. Yeah, it's just you don't know what you're going to run across. You never do. And I remember one time we were doing an investigation and didn't even notice it until the next day. Well, no, it wasn't even the next day. I think it was like a couple of days after. Well, maybe it was the next. Anyway, unimportant. Um, saw three children's shadows rising up from the ground, run across the wall, and disappear.
Hmm.
Right behind where we were sitting, right behind us. Nobody never noticed it that night. If it wouldn't have been for the cameras, we would have never caught it. And it was a shock the next day. Like, oh my God, how could we miss that? But we did, because we were concentrating on other things. That's why cameras are so essential at an
Definitely.
investigation, because they're going to catch the things that you're not catching that night because of your involvement with other things. You got too much going on. But that was a great
all
catch that
around.
night. Say what?
I said your eyes are focused in one area instead of around 360.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Uh, yeah, you can send an audio. This is from Polly Jail. We were down at the McDonald's and left the equipment running. Hey, when McDonald's calls, you got to go. I don't know if it's an audio or if it's going to be a video.
The first time I went to Poly Jail, outside of the cells, and I actually could smell smoke, but it was on the opposite side of where the man's cell was at. I could smell it, from it all. And I asked Stan, these rooms are the one that he's like, yeah. I said, well, I smell smoke out walking around.
It's it's amazing. It really is. It's amazing. Holly Jail is probably one of the most active, consistently active. I mean, it just doesn't let up.
Mm.
It doesn't matter when you go. You're gonna get something at Holly Jail. Stan is figuring it out.
I can't even read.
That's okay. We got all night, Stan. Oh my God.
I've learned a lot since I started with.
You do. You do. When you're working with a great group of people, I mean, the information is just, it's there. Okay, she says, listen. Ooh, they're having a fit. I was going to say, it sounds like the same exact sound over and over again. It's just, oh, it's on a loop.
That's a creepy sound when you're there.
Yes, it is. And that's exactly what happened to Richard and I when he was doing the Estes that night. You heard that boom, and it was right behind us. And it was like, oh, ooh.
I remember one time
Yeah, that.
one of the cat balls in one of the cells. I think it was Mr. Cell, and it didn't have a mattress on it. It had the little holes in it, and I stuck one of them
Hmm.
balls in the hole, so it wasn't going to move. But we had a camera across in another cell facing it, and that cat ball was going off that night. There's no way for it to
Yeah,
move.
no way for it to move. Yeah, yeah. It's kind of hard trying to, some people are like, oh, well, somebody moved the table or somebody bounced or somebody. Holly jail is it's sturdy, you know. Bouncing up and down on those floors, I don't think is going to make any difference at all. And so if those cat balls were moving or and going off, something had to be manipulating it because everything in Poly jail is made of steel. Even the beds are
That's what
made
I
of
was just.
steel. Hmm. There's not moving anything there. Nothing is going to be moving it.
And
So
for
it
those
had to have been manipulated.
high, like 4 to 6 high, you don't have just enough room to roll over in bed and get in it. And that's it.
No, no. I'm surprised that grown men were actually capable of even sleeping in there. It's
And you don't walk around in there because there ain't no room for you to walk around in there.
no, there's not. I mean, the conditions that these people were in was terrible, absolutely terrible.
One table to eat off of.
Yep. That was what on the second floor.
Second floor.
That was the second floor. Yeah,
And they
where the
had a
table was.
post on the third floor, so you they could be eating dinner. Pop, down and like in there. Be hanging right in front of you. You wouldn't know it's coming.
Mm-mm. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you, Michael, for being with us on the show tonight. Um, I sure have enjoyed having you on here. I've
Right?
enjoyed you coming on. Uh, we'll see each other real soon. Maybe we'll go to what we're talking about the church. That'd be great if we could go to the church, the haunted church. That'd be kind of cool. And maybe we can get the team out there. That would be great. But I sure enjoyed having you on tonight, Mike. And thank you for telling us everything about Mr. Skeeto. That was interesting. Um, and there's probably still a lot more to discover from him too, along
Yeah.
with this other guy. The stories are out there. They're just you just got to dig deep to find them, but they're all out there. These guys are really well known.
Yeah.
So, but thank you for everything that you do, for especially for the Web Paranormal. I sure do appreciate it, and I appreciate you doing all this, taking the time with this, and hopefully you'll come back. You'll be back on the show again.
Just let me know.
I will. And before we go, I want to remind everybody about the Deep South Paracomic Con. It's sponsored by the Webb Paranormal Group, and it will be in Ozark, Alabama on August the 9th and 10th. Um, Tickets are on sale now. Go on ahead and get them, while you can. Um, we've got some great guests that are going to be there. We've got Tony Moran, who played Michael Myers. Brett Wagner, who played Leatherface. We've got Lee Triana Terry Brown from Repossessed. Keith Age, they call him the rock and roll ghost hunter. He's a lot of fun. Austin Light from American Demon Comics. He's making a comeback. James Stokes from Stranger Things. So these people are all amazing. Come on down and meet them. There's a meet and greet there. Have your picture taken with them. Michael and Destiny Fox will be there. They're just nicest people in the world. Richard and Colleen Johnson, Matt Brown, Lee Triana's husband, Lane Rohan, Debbie Hawk Hutchinson.
Never heard of her.
I can vouch for her. She's pretty darn good. Russell Conway, wrestlers Buck Bresner and the American Giant Wrestler, and the Alabama Ghost Hunters in the Dothan Division. Come on now, that's a big lineup, you know.
Well, you don't see Leatherface.
You what?
So where else can you see Michael Myers and Leatherface?
I know, right? It's the truth. Bringing them right to you. All you got to do is show up. We'll bring them to you.
Yeah, you got to come to our horse.
That's right. You got to be the one to come on down to see them. We'll bring them to you, but you got to be the one to come down and see them. So they're even giving out free tickets. So you guys stay tuned and stay focused in on Deep South Paracomic-Con coming to Ozark, Alabama, and being hosted by the Webb Paranormal Group. And come on down and have a good time with us. We always have a great time at the Deep South Paracomic-Con. And we'd also like to add on that we've got another event coming up as well, and that is called the Medieval Faith Fest, and that's going to be in Marianna, Florida. And it sounds like a big difference between the two, big distance. It's not. It's just, it's like 50 miles the other way down south. But it's a Medieval Faith Fest, and that will be on November 9th and 10th. And it'll be at the Jackson County Ag Center. It's right outside of Marianna on Highway 90. Very easy to get to. If you're coming from I-10, you just take 231 to 90 and hang a right if you're coming in from Cottondale, and or hang a left if you're coming in from Marianna. And 90 will take you right to the Ag Center. And so it's very easy to get to. And as we're speaking, we are putting it together and getting great things coming up from there. So we're going to have like a really good time at the Medieval Faith Fest. And there'll be vendors and food trucks, all kinds of neat things. We're looking at all kinds of acts that are going to be there. This is our first year. And so any vendors and cosplay people out there who would be interested, give a call on the website, the Medieval Faith Fest website, and they can tell you all about it. There's the information on there. We are accepting for vendors as well as cosplay. So let us know. Yeah, yeah. Michael, you're going to be there, right? I know you're going to be there.
I'll be there.
I know you will.
I'll be
Michael's
happy.
going to be there. He'll be happy. So glad that everybody could tune in tonight, and we've sure enjoyed having you guys here with us. And we'll be talking to you soon. Next week, we've got some things planned coming up, and we'll see you next Tuesday. And Michael, again, thank you so much for coming on. Really enjoyed it. Oh, I'm glad. All right, everybody. You guys take care, and we'll see you next Tuesday. And be careful out there. Bye-bye.
Y'all have